All right. All right. Welcome back to the Spurs and Spreads podcast, the average guy lifestyle podcast where sports meets hunting. I'm Adam Ryan. These two jackasses to the right again are Patrick Castman and Chaz Brown. What's up, fellas? How's it going?
I'm uh I'm beat.
You
I'm
beat
beat.
you turkey tired. You been hunting this morning, didn't you?
Went for a little hike this morning.
You didn't go turkey and you went hiking.
It started off as a real good turkey hunt, and then I went hiking. You
Yeah.
just get just enough, and then you go hiking. So,
Yeah, I'm
uh,
familiar with that.
I got I got as tight to one on the roost as you could possibly get, roosted on a ridge, and
Yeah.
or I say possibly get. I mean, I think 40 yards is tight enough, don't y'all?
Yeah,
Yes.
40's
Yeah.
pretty
That's
close.
a little bit too much, but yeah.
Uh, just out of sight. The only thing is he's roosted in pines, select cut pines, so there's not a lot of overhead structure in between you and him. You know what I'm saying? It's not like slipping through the hardwoods right now.
Yeah.
But roosted right where I thought he'd be and set up on him, and he started gobbling at the crows, and about fly down time. Uh, did a little fly down and little popping at him, and he answered. And then about 3 seconds later, I heard a fly down cackle from a hen down in the bottom. Pop, 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 flew down. I heard him fly down, and it was over. Next time I heard him was 30 minutes later, 500 yards away.
So when you say down in the bottom, they were like way down in the bottom. Is that like because where you're hunting's hills, or were you on those big hills right then?
I was on the ridge, but now she wasn't. I say down the bottom, halfway down the ridge. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I still thought she was popping. I had gotten her fired up, and I thought she's gonna come check me out. She went straight to that gobbler, obviously, and he followed
Yeah.
her. It was over. I mean,
Yeah.
I would have had a better off hunt if I just hadn't said nothing. I believe.
Yeah, maybe so.
You know what I'm saying?
There's a lot to that. I mean, I can't tell you how many people we talk to that I mean, people have mixed opinions on that, but a lot of people they're not calling to them.
I did. I did just enough to let them know I was there. That was it. But anyway, so that's how the morning started, and that's when y'all text me, and I was like, "Hey, I'm." Well, that turned into a long journey, but nothing happened after
I
that.
I was wondering when I hadn't heard anything. I said it must not have gone the way that he wanted it to go because I ain't
It's hard to beat
normally
the real thing.
yeah, he's
Hard to
either
beat the
calling
real
me with a
thing.
kill or calling me with uh, a venting session, where he's ticked off. And like,
Do we need a therapy session for Chaz?
Nah, I'm good. I'm
yeah,
good.
yeah,
I've
it's
had
hard
some
to.
wins. I've had some wins, but I've had a lot more L's in the last week and a half than I have.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, you did kill the other day.
Yeah.
We hadn't. I mean, guys, we haven't. Probably should address that. We hadn't had a podcast in a couple weeks. We've been running hard. We've been running after turkeys like crazy, killing them, getting our butts kicked too at the same time, and running hard with family trips. I had a work thing. I was gone for a week. We tried to do a podcast, and it
A work thing.
the
How much work y'all
Yeah.
do on that trip? What y'all do work related on that trip?
the Wi-Fi wasn't very good at in Maui, so we couldn't get it done. But anyway, here we are. We're back. We hadn't talked about Chaz's kill. I did get an Eastern. I know we talked about that last podcast. I
And
was
that
gonna go.
completed the
Oh, I got
end
some
of year
balloon. Look at
grand
the
slam.
balloons. I don't know how that happened. That did. No, no, no. Yeah. Well, that helps.
That helps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm still a Merriam's away from a single season Grand
Well, that
Slam.
Merriam's is a lot, but
Well,
everything else isn't. But
hey, we're gonna put Adam when we get
I
when
don't
we
think
get up to
anything's.
Nebraska. Hey, look, this trip's not gonna be any fun until Adam kills. I'll let old Trigger go first. Trigger,
yeah,
you go first. You go get yours because if you go all the way up there and all the way back and don't kill a Miriam,
Let's
it's
see.
gonna
You
be
just said it out loud. You don't say that.
hadn't
Don't talk like
nobody
that. Don't talk like that.
hadn't nobody went to that place since 1988. I think.
94.
100% success rate. And then I'm going to be the one. Yeah, that's what's going to happen.
Well, I hope he gets flooded with hybrids and Rios while we're up there. He doesn't see any white tip Merriams.
Oh yeah.
Who's gonna make that call?
we're
on
Who's
the-
gonna make the call?
But we're
Who's gonna
on the
make the
north.
call?
I
We're
go
on
by
the
state. I go by state though. You
Yeah,
know what I'm
but-
saying?
yeah, but I mean we're on like the South Dakota line, literally. Like we crossed into South Dakota. Like those, I mean, there may be some hybrids running around, I'm sure, but they're about 90-something% Merriams. You know, I mean, that's a strong. I feel pretty good about it. And if not, I'll just go kill another one. That's fine. It's not a big deal.
So will you count it if you kill a Jake Merriams?
no. I
Okay.
won't count it if I kill
I
a
just want to
Jake.
be clear on that.
I'm not shooting a Jake Merriams. However, they do have short beards. It's kind of weird. The Merriams, they're, you know, they usually don't have big spurs. I mean, sometimes they'll have bigger beards, but you know, they're huge fans, and they gobble like a cartoon gobble, which is kind of funny, you know. But
Yeah.
it's kind of weird, you know. You look at their spurs and their beards, and you think it's like like the smallest bird I got on my wall over here looks like it's the biggest fan. It's a Merriam's, but it's got these little nubs, you know. That's one me and you killed over at Finks.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, tell us about. Go ahead.
At least those Merriams do what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, most of the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, I was telling somebody about Merriam's the other day, yesterday, actually, this guy, he's like, you know, I've never gone out of state hunting, you know, and he said, I was looking into it, and I was like, well, he's like, well, how is Nebraska? You know, I said, well, you got mostly Merriam's in Nebraska. I was like, but I said, a Merriam's turkey, from my experience, and it may not be the same for everybody, I was like, look, they're still wild turkeys. They're not easy to kill. I know we talk about it like they're way easier to kill than an eastern in Mississippi.
There you go. That's what I'm
Way
saying.
easier.
Ain't none of them
And-
easy, but
no, and
they
I was
work a
telling
lot
him,
differently.
if you find a non-hunted Merriam's, oh, buddy, just like old Chris from Hunt49.com was saying, yeah, he said, yeah, go, 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 you know, they
Yeah.
sound like a cartoon gobble, but just like he said, you know, you call to them generally like in South Dakota, and they're coming, right? Well, you run into one that's been hunted like we did over at our guy Finks over there. Me and you went in that river bottom, which there was birds there, but they've been hunted, and it was now. I was telling him, I was like, you know how I always talk about these things are like dang chickens? I said, those really are. They're like chickens. You can spook them off and they'll come back.
Yeah.
However, they're going to keep a safe distance from wherever you are. Like they're doing their best, you know, because they've been hunted. So they're still a hunted wild turkey. It's still not. And then making a play on them, I mean, it's better.
The-
It's easier than the Eastern, but it still ain't easy.
The thing
That's
that
what
sticks
the-
out to me about the Merriam is usually it's the barnyard bird. You can pull through there, them cattle gaps, and they're slap full of them. But then you make a move on them, they're not going to do right. You know what I'm saying? That's like
No.
they know exactly what tractor's supposed to be there. What's you know,
Yeah.
you come through there and open up your car door, they're gone. But
You roll down that window.
you just roll through going about 15 or 20, they're just going to look at you. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
That's what y'all get for cherry picking the river bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
when he
guy's
said
place,
river bottom,
he started describing. He's like, I got this place, and who wants to go to the river bottom? I got a mile worth of river bottom. And
Chaz
Adam and
won.
Chaz both stood up like, yeah, we'll go there.
I want to go because everything I'd seen was just open. I was like, where are the trees in this place? You know, and he said, well, it's about an hour away, hour and a half away, but it's a river bottom down there. And me and Chaz were like, we won't go there.
What about? I mean, look at Kansas when we pulled through there. What were we around? They were all over the river bottom. They
All
wasn't
over.
nowhere else.
Yeah.
That's right.
Or the farm. Me and Adam found some
Yeah.
on that farm, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean,
That
they
wasn't far from the river
all-
bottom,
all
though.
of our
Right.
encounters
You're right,
came
though.
on
I'm going to call
river.
that guy today.
within about a mile of that river. Let's just call it that. You know,
Mhm. That's
Yeah.
right.
There.
Yeah, that's right, man. And look, so we got the turkey tour coming up too. We'll talk about that. You know, everybody's got their version of the turkey tour nowadays, but we thought we were the only ones. Apparently not. Everybody's doing it. But we got the old turkey tour coming up in the motorhome. We're gonna take it to. Well, first we're gonna go to Punta Cana with the wives. That's kind of how we pass it. We celebrate the end of turkey season. However, we could be hunting in like we could be hunting then. But it's my wife's 40th birthday. We're going to celebrate. It's going to be fun. So just so happens a few people tagged along. We're going to have a big time. We're going to do a podcast from Punta Cana. So that, assuming they have a Wi-Fi connection over there.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah, that should be fun. Yeah,
we'll have a lot of special guests on that day.
A lot of special
I think
guests.
everybody turkey hunting.
I think if
somewhere.
you hadn't tuned in, tune into the Punta Cana episode.
Yeah.
Even if you don't like turkeys, that's the one you talk to. So anyway, we get home. After that, we get in the, I think I have a baseball tournament for 2 days, and then we're in the motorhome. We're going to Kansas. We're lucky enough. Finally, I was able to get a tag. You guys had drew a tag. Scott did not draw a tag. I don't know, Scott. I'm gonna try to talk him into coming with me. Otherwise,
what about the South
by
Dakota
myself.
deal, though?
That's a whole nother conversation. We got to figure that out. We'll talk to. I don't think we can apply for that right now. Anyway, but we're going to Kansas, and then obviously we're going to Nebraska. And I know we're making plans though in the future to start trying to hit a few states. That wasn't something we had always talked about doing. We just we've always said we want to just enjoy the experience of killing turkeys in different terrains and different atmospheres and different parts of the country. But now, it's now we start killing a few in all these states. Well, let's see how many we can do. I don't want to be, y'all tell me what you think about this. I don't want to be totally obsessed because I know I'm going to. I know y'all laughing right now.
You already started.
I don't want to be totally obsessed with getting 49 states. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not that I don't think I can do it. I will ruin my life trying to do this if we get really into it. So I just want to try to tell myself I'm just enjoying it. Okay.
Well,
can we just do that? Can we just tell ourselves we're just enjoying the experience? And if we get one, we get one.
I've got I really want to go to Montana and Wyoming.
Yeah. See, that's what I really
next year.
I'd love to see the backdrop. Yeah, so I'm going to try some new things. I'm going to do South Dakota if we don't squeeze that in this year. I'd like to do South Dakota. We hit up our boy Brody on that, who, by the way, have y'all seen some of his newest photography or videography?
Yeah,
man, it's good. I told him I've just been slacking on the Spurs and Spreads thing, but I definitely going to share some of his stuff. I'm going to start posting some of his stuff. He's good, man. It's real good. So, but it's our boy Brody Bros. He's he's a guide for White Oak Outfitters over there with our buddy Clay Beck in Mills, Nebraska, is where we like to go every year because, man, they put on. It is professionally done. It really is. What did I say? Since 1980 something, 100% success rate with. So it's not just hunting. It is really the whole experience. You got a camp. We can call it a lodge. It's a nice camp where they cook you. I mean, I think I never had deep fried baby back ribs until I was there, and that was great. I'm just saying the experience is great. Clay Beck is one of the original turkey thugs from Mossy Oak back when, wasn't it back when old Cuz Strickland and all them were doing the turkey thug thing? It didn't really blow up back then. Now it probably would.
That's Bob Walker, and they had a poster on the wall at Finks when we were up there.
That's right. Yep. And so Clay is an awesome guy. We still talk all the time, and he's got a heck of an operation up there. I mean, anybody who's looking to do, I mean, they do everything too. But the thing with them is we were on a waiting list for 3 years, so you got to get in before they're going to take you. They're not. But it is definitely something I would push to anybody. You need to check them out. They're good.
Yeah.
So, but with that said, I also told Clay he's going to be on the podcast with. I asked him basically. Well, I actually told him. I was like, Clay, you going to be on? He's like, oh, I don't know about that, but he said he's going to do it. We'll get him and Brody and all those guys in on it. It's going to be oh gosh, what's the other fella's name? The other Beck, the kid, Jonah, and he's awesome too. But anyway, we're gonna get them all on. I think it'll be kind of a cool deal. Talk about the hunts and all that. Get Scott in there with his antics. It should be good.
Yeah,
he's got.
How about that? That.
Yeah.
Guy. Well, why don't we move on? Why don't you tell me a little bit about Chaz? You did strike while I was in Hawaii, so y'all's goal was to send me 3 dead birds while I was gone. And
we're about that close to sending you 3.
It was as close as it gets. As close as it gets.
Yeah. But yeah, we were able to send Adam one dead bird and wish him happy Honolulu over there. But
Oh,
I had a, one of those hunts that you probably run into 2 or 3 times a year,
yeah.
in Alabama or Mississippi, where everything you do, if had a camera person with me, I'd have looked like a professional,
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything worked out perfect.
I like those days.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just easy as can be. Go about 7:15, you're pulling the trigger, and everything just worked out.
Coffee
But
hadn't even gotten cold yet.
it was on the edge of this hayfield, and usually it takes a little while. It wasn't right off the roost, but it was close. But anyways, he's up there and clucked a little bit, purred, and he hammered out there, and it ended up being 3 of them. But this one came in just hoping to die that day. just
And some days it's like that, right?
barreled
It's
off
just
in
like
there,
He's
just
ready to take a
looking
ride in
and
the
ready.
truck.
Caught him at the right minute. That morning, and it was over and done with. Quickest hunt I've been on in a long time. But that's how it happens. Let's see, you'll get 2 or 3 of them a year. You better capitalize on those when you do, because for the other 20 times, you're dealing with something. You're having to make a move on them.
And that's you had an opportunity, like a week or a few days before that, right? And you had to make a moral decision, right?
That's right.
You had an opportunity, and most
Yeah, I
people
had
listening
3.
probably been like,
I
I'd
had
have
3.
shot that.
I had 3 right on 15 yards over the property line, and when I say property, it's a fence, and it's pretty close to the.
There's also a house there.
To the property neighbor, the neighbors. It's not like it's farmland out in the middle of nowhere. But
yeah.
I made a moral decision that I was kicking myself.
The turkey gods blessed you for making the right
I
decision.
walked out there and got blessed one day. So
yeah, it would have been
good.
something. You got permission to hunt this land, and then it's just what the owner needs to hear is that you're
having problems out
turkey.
there.
Some guy shot my turkey right in my driveway across the
just
field.
like that. Just like that. It's over and done.
And you wanted to. They're all 3 of them right there. You could have, and then you're gone. You don't have that opportunity anymore. And that's kind of was redemption for you too, wasn't it? Because, you've had that particular spot, man. You've hunted them pretty hard over the past couple of years, and it just hadn't been. It's either hit or miss, but you hadn't had a lot of success. You've heard some gobbling, but it's taking you a little while to learn the property and learn the land and learn
that
the
place
birds.
is tough. They don't stay on it. They don't stay on the property.
They're there,
so
they're not.
Really, it's not a. And I know 95% of the time you're trying to get out there and get one on the roost, but they don't get over there towards the hayfields until later in the morning.
Later on in the afternoon. Mm-hmm. What about you, Patty? Have you do any hunting? Well, I know you've been doing some hunting since we addressed this the last podcast. I can't remember we've talked about your kill and Scott's kill. Have we talked about that?
Yeah, we did that.
We did do that, and then you went to Missouri. I feel like I'm missing something. What else?
The happened? Missouri mishap.
Oh, the mishap.
That's what
Missouri
it is.
Mishap.
And I was genuine when I said I felt like I was missing something. That wasn't no pun intended. Tell me what happened in the Missouri mishap. If you don't.
Well, the day we leave to head up to Missouri, I get a picture of 4 strutters in a field at my hunting club. So,
yeah.
That's how you go to Missouri and you're like, oh, they're gonna have a bunch of birds. Well, we went to a spot that you and I hunted a couple years ago for 2 days, and long story short, all 4 of us struck out. Scott and I were hunting together. Chisholm and Cody were hunting together, and just wasn't a whole lot of action. There's a couple turkeys on the little spot we were hunting, Missouri Public, but we made the decision to drop down in the bottom, try to strike one. And when I say bottom, I mean bottom.
Yeah, like
Missouri, long ways down.
Missouri bottom is a little different than the Mississippi bottom. And Mississippi
I was glad to be back.
Pretty far down there, but Missouri bottom is it is. I remember the time me and you went. I finally just got tired of walking down. I was like, we're never going to get to the bottom.
And me and Scott went.
I didn't want to come back up.
We went in the bottom of both those places, but. Long story short, we're walking through there, and Scott gets aggressive calling and strikes one up, and he's kind of moving away from us. He's got his hens, and a couple hens passed by us about 30 minutes later. So we think, oh, we're in the game now. We've got his hens, he's done with them. So he quits gobbling. So we tiptoe kind of down through the bottom. Scott gets eyes on the turkey at about 70 yards. He's strutting in that bottom, and I'd already put my gun down. I was kind of huddled up behind Scott. We were in a bad setup. You know, you're walking and you see one, you don't really have time to pick a tree and get set up. So my gun, I'm huddled behind Scott, just peeking over his shoulder.
I hate that. I hate that.
We lose him, lose sight of him. So we're both watching the ridges left and right, see if he's going to come up and around. Well, about 20 minutes later, we hear some putting, and it's directly behind me, which is behind Scott as well. And I'm thinking it's those two hens. I'm thinking those two hens were behind us. You know, they loop back, checking us out. And Scott says, that those hens? You know, it's like 20 yards behind you. You hear putting, you're like scared to move. So I turned, peeked around, and said, it's a dang longbeard. He's like, you're kidding. So I grabbed my gun. By the time I grabbed my gun and got twisted, he was going away uphill, and Scott cut at him a couple times. And he stopped for a second and gobbled, and he was somewhere. He was too far. He's 60, 70 yards, I'd guess. And I shot across my body when he was stopped through a bunch of trash.
Scott told me he was about 30. He's 60, 70.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, I'm on the miss list. But we went back and followed the path of the shot, and it broke 20, 30 twigs off trees, you know, where the shot went. But
it's not
miss. We went back the next day and struck him again, and he didn't want to play ball. So he's still in there. He got shot at right there. But he was within 50 yards of where he was shot and missed at the next day, just hanging out. So Missouri mishap. Missouri mishap. We all four struck out. I think I was the only one that squeezed the shot off, but it was a pop shot Hail Mary. But when you've been boogering with one for several hours and he makes a loop and comes around behind you, I would have been. I think I would have slept.
But y'all weren't really hearing birds, right? You didn't just strike out. There wasn't any gobbling going on. Like the only gobbling you heard, you shot at him, and
I should have stayed home.
And then you hunted the next day.
We had fun. 1 o'clock cutoff in Missouri's fun. You come back and drink beer and grill.
That I do like about Missouri. You can kind of. I mean, I'm forced to just relax and just chill.
That's a great rule. That is.
1 o'clock is a good rule. That way you don't wear yourself out. You get you some good sleep. But we rolled into Missouri and never went to sleep. So it was.
I don't want to promote that rule in my state. Let's leave that alone. It's fine. I don't know.
Look how much more productive you'd be though.
But I mean, think about it. Usually, if you get out there at daybreak, I mean,
I don't like hunting in the afternoons anyway.
1:30. I mean, you're dragging. You miss lunch, or you
like us in Texas. Remember, we're walking 10 miles a day, staying out hunting till.
Now, if I'm out of state, I'm hunting all day.
Oh yeah. I'm
out of state.
I mean, that's what we're doing. You don't have anything else going on, you know.
Yeah, that's it. We're there to kill a turkey. I'm not there to hang out.
But I think I think it gives the birds, an afternoon,
an opportunity,
just
first
mess with, by hunting.
Yeah, I mean, because honestly, usually, what do you do in the afternoon? You deer hunt them, right? Usually, and deer hunting, I mean, I ain't really turkey hunting anyway. I mean, it ain't. Let me rephrase that. It's not how I like to turkey hunt them.
Yeah.
I am not saying it's not turkey hunting because there's plenty to it. You're able to call one in. If you got the patience enough to go sit there with a decoy, you can kill them that way. And there's a lot of people that kill, like old Mark Brenner was saying, he deer hunts them all the time. He's like, well, do you want to kill one or not? And I'm like, you're right.
The older people,
now that's
really
different.
All they can do.
I mean, like my dad, he's older. He ain't going.
The mountain ridges over here.
No.
One mountain and you're done.
Yeah, now that's different. Yeah, now you're on those mountain ridges and you're, that's, all right. Well, deer hunting's different then. But, here in Mississippi where it's flat and things like that, I don't like doing it. Now, I'm not too good to do it. If I get desperate enough, I'll definitely do it.
Scott asked me how I felt. He says, "That's the first turkey you've ever missed?" I said, "Yeah. First turkey you ever missed." I had to go look for it. And, he's a clean miss. But first thing I said after a shot was I missed it. But anyway, walking out of the woods.
Look at the gun?
Yeah.
I always look at the gun like, what is this?
But Scott said, how do you feel? And I said, well, the best way I can describe it is I'm at the bar with my girlfriend, and I bump into this short guy, little guy at the bar, and smart off to him, and I felt like I bumped into him, smarted off to him. He kicks my ass and takes my girlfriend. So that's about how I feel right now. It's about how I felt afterwards.
Something you think about for a while. Like, how did that just happen?
It just happened so fast, and I froze. I mean, the turkey was 20 yards behind me and was putting, and I never even, I wasn't in kill mode. I was ready. I was hunched up behind.
Did you say that one doesn't count as a miss?
That one counts as a miss.
Yeah, no.
But you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, and that's why I carry that.
It was a tough shot.
You know what's funny about that?
You need all the
three-handed, twisted across.
That's why you shoot the cannon.
I was talking to Scott right before he got the wild hair to take off on that trip, and he was just getting out of the woods, and he said, "I tell you what," he said, "I've been turkey hunting a long time." He said, "I've been putted at by gobblers more than I ever have in my life this year." And what do you know? He goes up to Missouri, and that same thing happened. But he was ready to jump off.
He told me, he's like,
he's been putted at a bunch.
That's what he said. Yeah. Me and Patrick, I said, what are you washing your clothes in the wrong kind of detergent or something? Is it shining at him? What are you doing? Like, what? He's like, I don't know.
That was just a bad setup. But we were. It's one of the ones you see a turkey and you just melt. You know what I mean? You walk and you're like, oh, I see a strutter, and you just kind of drop to the ground, and then. He made a big loop around us. Scott said,
I actually hate
Scott said, no big deal. He had a 12-inch beard and about 2-inch spurs. No big deal.
He's fine. No big deal.
That's a public land warrior is what he called it.
Public land warrior.
Yeah.
Just let him go. Just like that.
That was the day after I lost the coin toss, and it was 83 degrees, and I had to haul all of our stuff back up the
So I'm in Hawaii, and I'm getting videos of two things. One, Patrick losing paper, rock, scissors to Scott, having to hike up that mountain with all. If you lost, you had to carry the other guy's gun and his vest. Is that right?
Yeah.
And I'm glad I wouldn't. I'd have probably won, but anyway. But then I got old Chaz over here sending me, happy Honolulu with a dead bird in his hand. And I'm over here thinking, like, don't get me wrong. I know, like I said before, you don't complain about being in Hawaii. However, I mean,
were you really happy for him though? I mean, on a previous episode, you said it was hard for you to be happy for people that
I'm telling you, what I was telling you was I have matured, and now I am
He's happy after he killed. He's happy for it.
No, I'm genuine. Now, if I hadn't killed a bird, I might be a little jealous and envious, which is things that I don't like doing. But I was real happy for him, actually. I'm glad he got that little redemption over on that place. And thank God, before I went to Maui, like I told y'all, that I was going to do some things at work, which I have done, and I was going to kill an Eastern before May 1st, and another one. And so thank God I was able to put it together on a hunt right before I left from Maui. I had 2 mornings left. I hadn't hunted much. It's no gobbling going on at all. And I said, well, I'm going to try this new piece of property I got on the camera, and jumped out there, got out there, went straight to my camera. I saw there was a gobbler in the area, so the day before, so I jumped over there. I hadn't had a picture of a bird on camera the entire season. I wasn't even sure what was over there. Not little 100 acres is not even big, and it's muddy. My God, it's muddy. It floods like crazy. I'm sitting there, so I go back to where I saw the picture. The picture was at like 6:48 a.m. I was like, well, he's got to be somewhere within, pretty close where I can hear him, so I can make a play on him on the roost. So I just walked all the way backside of that property to that camera. Now, if I didn't know this property, I wouldn't have walked all the way back. If I hadn't had that bird on camera like I knew there was one, I would have hung tight. Like if I go hunting and I had never been there, I don't know anything, and then I'm not going to go stomping all through the property, right off the bat. I'm going to stop and listen. Well, this case, I knew there was a bird over there somewhere, so I went all the way back in there. Sure enough, I mean, he's 50 yards from my camera, just and I'm just like, oh yeah. I brought my chair with me because there's not a lot of. I wasn't sure about. I hadn't been on this place. I didn't really know what what to expect. So I just sat my chair up right there. I mean, I'm 50, 60. I mean, I might be 70 yards. I don't really know. Somewhere in there. It wasn't far. And I'm like, you're dead. I get real cocky when in my head. I have to be that way. Anyway, you got to be confident, right? And I get in there and I make a few sounds to him, scratching in the leaves once it gets daylight enough to where a hen would actually be on the ground. I make a few sounds, scratching the leaves. He answers, and then there's another bird south of him. He's hammering too, and that dude is hammering, dude. He hammers at every crow call. He hammers at um, every hoot owl call. Everything just da 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 da. And I'm like, God, it's about time we get up underneath the gobbling turkey, So I mean, I waited. I'm very patient on this one. I am freezing, by the way. I didn't wear enough clothes, and my teeth are clicking. I'm so comfortable. Like at one point, I was like, I'm not gonna be able to shoot the bird. I'm talking. I was shaking, but I just didn't have enough clothes on. And then sitting there, the birds are trying. I start purring, whatever, scratching leaves when they hit the ground, and they're hammering everything I do, and I just shut up. Well, they're still hammering. I don't say nothing. They're hammering. I don't say nothing. They're hammering. I don't say nothing. They're getting closer. Hammering. Don't say nothing. The one that was further south, he's up here now with the other bird. Hammering nothing. Then nothing. Everything shuts up. Just like the old story. Everybody says they hit the ground, shut up. Well, he did. They shut up. And I thought, well, they're probably going to come up this road. He was here yesterday. But now here it is like 7:30 and I hadn't seen nothing. Hadn't heard nothing. Nothing's gobbling. Nothing's probably 8 o'clock now. So I said, I'm going to make a play. I'm going to work my way back down the road. I got some work stuff I got to do. So I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to work my way back. And then on my way back, I moved my camera to a different part of the road to where I thought they were. And sure enough, when I was over there putting my camera back up, I mean, where I thought I was thinking in my head, where did they go? I said they probably went to them big oak trees over there and probably feeding on acorns or something, or strutting in those pines over there. Because I had never been on this property, I just saw them. As I've only been on it one time, and I remembered looking at it. I never hunted on this property, and so I went over there. And sure enough, one fired off, just free gobbling. I was like, okay. He's about 400 yards from me. I said, I'm going to go ease off in these hardwoods, sit down. And I call. We should start playing the game right there. He answers, hammer, 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 hammer. And I quit calling, scratching, doing all that, and then thinking he may be coming. He's going to come check me out. Well, 30, 40 minutes goes by, nothing. I call again. He answers back. I'm like, okay, now he's going to come check. Nothing. Turkey, he's on turkey time. He ain't on our time. So you don't ever know what they're going to do. So I'm thinking he must have some hens over there, right? That's got to be what's going on. I know there's a bunch of hens on. I've seen them on camera. I know they're here. And really what happened next is, that's what I've told y'all, is probably one of the coolest things that I've seen in the turkey woods. I end up, well, back up to just a few minutes. I hear a gunshot, boom, and I'm like, ooh, that was just enough time for that bird it was probably 30 minutes gone by. I ain't heard nothing for him to get shot, go on somebody else's property, get shot. And so he hammers, again. I'm like, okay, all right, he's still alive, good. All right, well then all of a sudden I see him come. I can see him at like 90 yards, and all of a sudden these hens, when I did that, these hens just started cutting up from my left. They're coming. And I see I had seen her on camera, a white albino hen with she's beautiful. I mean, it's unbelievable. She's at like 90 yards right now. So, and this is where I think if I hadn't done this, I would have gone home empty-handed. I just was like, all right, it's 9 o'clock. I'm going to try to bring these hens. I mean, we've been playing this game for an hour and 20 minutes, hour and 30 minutes. I'm going to bring these hens to me. So I'm not sure, mimicking the hens, whatever they're doing. I'm doing my best to sound the best I can, whatever they sound like. And they're just, I mean, it's a weird, they're not even got, you hadn't even heard it. The sound that they're making is just different. So I was just trying to do what they're doing. Well, sure enough, it's like that white hen looked over at the other one and was like, we're going to go find this, what this is. So they come running, and I thought, okay. And I could see that strutter. He's still just, sitting over there. And I was like, okay. And he's hammering, by the way. Every time we call, he calls, she calls. I mean, he's just bah, da, da. And then those hens come all the way to me about 10 yards from me. And it's like I didn't realize there was another bird to the left. I remember there was two gobbling at first, and all of a sudden I hear, ding. I mean, he's 60 yards to my left ish. I'm in his bubble for sure, and I'm thinking, okay, there's another bird over here. And all right, so then the birds kept making. They hung around for 20, 30 minutes, made the sound. That bird gobbled. One time, the second bird, the non-dominant bird, gobbled. Which, long story short, that's the one I end up killing. The dominant bird that I'm looking at over here is still hammering at everything they do. Hammers at him, but he's quartering away from us. He is not coming. He ain't coming. I done made up my mind. He ain't coming. And he done gone the other way. And he's now probably 400 yards away from me where he was, maybe 300, and he was 100. And in a pine thicket, now that it's getting daylight, I can see real good. I can see there's pines, and I can see that it opens up through all this privet. I can't see this bird drumming at 60 yards to my left because there's so much privet and undergrowth. All it's just it hadn't ever been burned or hadn't been burned in years, one or the other. And the hens finally leave, and when the hens leave, they go to that dominant bird still. They do not go to the bird that gobbled and that was drumming to my left. He only gobbled one time, and in my head, I was like, that's probably a non-dominant bird. Why didn't those hens go to him when he gobbled? They ended up going back to the dominant bird. Has been hammering all dang morning. I bet I heard 400 gobbles, So I was like, all right, he's just sitting over there strutting like a dang chicken. I done told you, he's just sitting there. He ain't going nowhere. That's how. If you think a gobbler's left, he probably hadn't. Even that other gobbler, he wasn't that far. He's still in the area. So I said, all right, I'm gonna back out completely, come up the road, cut into the pines, and then I thought about that time me and you, Chaz, were working a bird for an hour and a half. These 2, 3, 4 birds for an hour and a half. This is one of the first times. This is the day I killed my first turkey just about 2 hours before this happened when me and you went. And I thought to myself, we were about to give up on them, and me not knowing any better. I remember we were in discussions, but in my mind about leaving and backing out and coming out for next morning. But we were in discussions. I was like, let's just move up another 70 yards. And me and you both agreed, like, yeah, hell, let's give it a shot. And you were like, yeah, let's move up another 70 yards. So we move up over the crest of the hill just enough where we can see a lot more. We sit down, but we don't go stomping all in there, and we end up killing those birds, right? Or you ended up shooting that bird. And that was awesome. So I remembered that. And if that hadn't happened, I might not have even tried it. But finally, I was like, you know what? I'm either going to bump them or I'm going to kill them because I ain't coming back here. I'm about to go to Maui, so I ain't coming back here for a while. So I'm about to go. So I went on in there, and sure enough, I don't know how I didn't bump him, but I sat down, and that dude was right where I thought he was an hour ago when he gobbled. He ain't moved. He ain't gonna know. I mean, he might have moved 50 yards. He ain't going far. I'm sitting there looking at him strutting, and I'm over here pointing to my left, though. And my problem is he's to my right. I'm right-handed. You can't turn right. So I'm sitting here looking at him, and I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? And he's strutting, and boom, boom. He ain't gobbling. And I think I called. No, that's right. I did call, and he blows my hat off. And that's how I was like, oh, God. And he's doing all that. And then I called before I saw him, and that's when he hammered, so backing up some. But anyway, so then he starts just kind of easing his way to me, but he's still to my right. I got to move my gun 4 feet. That's a long way in a wide open pines. I don't know how I'm going to do this. He's just going to have to either come in front of me or I'm going to swing on him, and that's going to be a stupid idea. Never swing on him if you can help it, and unless they're like 10 yards. And still, it's probably not going to work. However it did this time. Anyway, so he's coming in, long story short, he moves behind a big pine tree, a big one. So I move like a foot, or maybe about, not a foot, half a foot, move. And when I do, it's like I kind of crust in the leaves. And it's like, I guess he thought that was like a hen scratching, because when he did that, he broke strut. I thought I bumped him. He broke strut and come right to me. And he got 15 yards from me, but he's still to my right. And I'm thinking, dang it. He's going to end up coming all the way behind me. It's going to be an hour ordeal. I'm going to not get a shot on this bird. When he's 15 yards, I'm like, yep, I'm going to end up swinging on him. This is either going to be good or bad. I can see this coming. But he got behind another tree, and then I moved. He saw me, but I recognized it, thank God. But he did. He just come right to the left, thank God. And about 25, 30 yards, he got dusted, and that was the eastern down. Thank God. So just because I haven't hunted Mississippi much this year at all, and the few times I have killed one with wind, and then it just hadn't heard any gobbling turkeys. I mean, I lost access to the honey hole for a little while because we'd already killed the max number of birds. Uh, so I was stuck going to public land and going to, these places I'd never hunted. That thank God I had access to, or I might not have him. So, that's why we are always asking for access. Because I mean, now I have an opportunity to do something that, I mean, I never really planned to do, but. With the
Somebody hit you up and told you come on though. I know how desperate you were. I was like, come on. Come on,
oh no, yeah, I forgot about that. Oh, Patty did hit me up the day before and was like, I know you owe me a trigger, and I do. I owe him. He's like, but I mean, that's a good friend right there. I think I told you that. Yeah, that's a good friend right there because he was serious.
I mean, I was going to swing in front of you and shoot one.
That's a good friend right there. He said, I tell you what, I would love to see you get it done. Let's go. So I just couldn't leave that day. It was something to do with kids or something. Oh, we went to
Adam he went through rehabilitation with his mind, and he renewed his mind, and he said he's proud for people that kill turkeys. And
I am now proud for people
that kill turkeys. Did that albino hen better count her lucky stars?
She had a beard. I hope that she leaves some offspring over
she's
there.
She's actually not out, but she's shadow phase.
Yeah. She's got some. Yeah, she's got some
smoke phase. That's what I want to kill. Smoke
dude,
phase.
That thing is beautiful, man. When she was 10 yards in front of me, just sitting there, and I'm thinking, you know what? If I don't kill, this is. I mean, I don't know how many times I'm going to get to see an albino or whatever we call them, smoke phase.
Yeah, smoke phase is what she is. I've seen some albino when Scott's buddy killed an all albino gobbler.
Hey, I saw
all white.
Our buddy, he sent me a Snapchat today. Y'all weren't with us. The one in Florida, Mike, my guide, he sent me a picture of a dead albino gobbler. I don't know if he killed it or somebody he had taken had killed it, or somebody was with had killed it, but he was there, and he sent me a Snapchat just the other day. He's like, "Look at this." I was like, "Dude, that's crazy." I was just on a hen. I've never seen one before, so it's pretty cool.
The smoke phase, and then the copper colored ones. There was a copper colored one killed at our club.
I've seen hens like that. I haven't seen now. Wynn's turkey has some of that copper which is unique on the tips of his wings, where most of them are all white right there. It was different. I'd never seen that before, so I don't really know the biology on that or what that is. But anyway, so LSU sweeps Missouri. We'll move and do a little college baseball, unless y'all got any more.
You're coming in on a good weekend because y'all hadn't won a lot here.
We've had a terrible. Well, however, we've played Mississippi State away, Arkansas away. We did play Florida at home, didn't we? Yeah, and we did get beat. But then there was another away team, so we've had a terrible. Did
we sweep yet? No, we took 2 out of 3.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, 2 out of 3.
But now y'all's falling off the map too. Would you win one this weekend in y'all series?
Yeah, and we got that was that was
y'all are about 500 overall.
We're not ranked anymore. Well, guess where we go this weekend?
Where?
At Arkansas.
Well, that'll get you right back on the map. You take 2 there, but
but then I think we play at Tennessee too. So we've got number 2.
Oh, we played at Tennessee too. Yeah, we played that.
That's rough. But you see what Vandy did to Caglione?
I haven't.
He had homered in 9 straight games, tied the record for most consecutive games. They walked him, intentionally walked him.
Oh, really? Those jokers.
So he's homered in 13 of the last 14.
That's right, but the coach went at him about his bat being corked, or
that was big.
The trajectory or something off of it. I don't know.
Yeah, he wanted to have his bat investigated.
That's probably just a head.
And
game.
Then Caglione,
head game to cool him off.
That makes sense. But then he smashes one the next day.
Well, that's what they do when you go extra innings.
It's kind of like icing the kicker.
If I'm coaching a team and I'm fixing to go extra innings and I'm on the road and things aren't looking good, I'm gonna come out there and get tossed, get my team going.
Yeah, I'm gonna do something stupid.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go out there and spike.
It's fun anyway. You ain't got
on the umpire's shoe and get him.
Jay Johnson tried that this year and it didn't work. He said, "I won't do that again. This team doesn't react correct."
it did with us against Ole Miss. We lost 2 out of 3. We had them on the road, smoked them the first night. Bianco, they blow a call. Bianco goes out there like he's won, I don't know, 800 games or something. I mean, just
he knows
crazy.
when it's time.
And he he knew it. He went out there and all, I don't know, 13, 14,000 Ole Miss fans there on Super Rebel Weekend, whatever they call it, go crazy, and they end up winning the game. Weekend. And then we lose on Sunday. You know what I'm saying? It's just took the momentum off him getting kicked out.
Can we address this just, real quick? Like, what? I mean, it probably bothers me more than it does y'all. What is Ole Miss? We just went to the Morgan Wallen concert at the Ole Miss Stadium. Why do they have SEC West champs of 03 in there? And they didn't win the SEC West in 03. They might have tied the records,
but there's
LSU beat them head to head and went to Atlanta and won the national championship.
That's right. Yeah.
In 03. And I was there. That was the game where Chad Lavallee pushed the guy in Eli's foot, and Eli tripped and fell in the last play. Now look, they were really good that year. I'm not telling you. I don't know. Every time I look at it, I'm just like, you didn't win the SEC West.
Is there a little asterisk next to it somewhere?
Yeah. They're bad about it. Yeah.
That's about like Reggie Bush. They said Reggie Bush got his Heisman back today. I was like,
well. Hey, I'm happy about that.
I'm glad.
Me too.
I'm glad for
it. Me too.
He deserves it.
Think about it. He's the most electric player we've ever seen in football.
Dude, you remember we were in college. I remember like catching his games because we were always out. I remember catching his games and watching. I was like, he's one of the better college athletes we've ever seen.
I'm gonna need to go up on Mississippi State's projection win total for this year. Because
am I recording good? Okay.
Because of the spring game.
I watched our spring game, and usually I'm not the one you want to talk to.
You were playing yourselves,
huh?
You're playing yourselves.
But I also know football, and I know when a good scheme's put in.
Okay.
And we looked fantastic.
Yeah, I like your coach.
I had Blake Shapen. He's our transfer from Baylor. That was Levy's guy that he went out and got, and had 3 touchdowns in the first half, 300 yards. And then you say, well, that was the defense. Well, I mean, may have been, but we haven't had a system installed like that since Mike Leach's second or third year. I mean, it was instant. Both the 1s and 2s look good. I'll tell you what we did. We went out and got a UTEP 1,000-yard receiver. You know what I'm saying? We went out and got these 1,000-yard guys. That's what I've been preaching the whole time. It's like Mississippi State, or these people that can't just get the elite 5-star. They need to go out and look in these conferences in the Sun Belt and give me the 1,000-yard receiver. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Give me the 800-yard receiver, the freshman that had, the number 2 guy. Give me him. Well, we got those, and I believe they hit. I mean, I'm feeling good, and I didn't expect to turn that on. I called Chisholm. They were up in where'd they go? Iowa,
Illinois.
They were I think they had 3 dead by 8:30 or something. But anyways, when he called me about that bird, I told him, I said, hey, cut on the ESPN app and put on this game when you want to kill time. I said, you're gonna be mighty proud. He said, what? I said, that's the best I've ever seen this look. He's like, I was like, yeah.
Man, that's
so now you think y'all beat the Gators up there in Starkville? Now?
Yeah.
I smell a big wager coming on.
Napier, that's going to be his walking papers. Starkville is. He's going to get home and he ain't going to have a plane to go home.
That's how it used to be. If you lose Mississippi State,
this is going to be
done.
Y'all are going to retire him just like you had the last 3. Here's $30 million. Walk away. Have a good life. We'll go to the next one.
This is going to be a big week. The next couple of weeks are going to be a big week with LSU football for sure. Like I know Kelly came out and said we are recruiting 1 position. That's defensive line. D-line right now. And
D-line.
However, I think we're a finalist on the wide receiver position.
When you're hosting walk-ons for fraternity row out there.
Yeah.
Get some depth. Yeah, you need to get in that portal.
Well, we're a finalist for that big D lineman we're a finalist for the D lineman that was at Michigan State last year who started and he's a 5th year and he's apparently a baller. I don't really know. But I'll look at him after we get him. I don't really do a lot of looking.
So since Reggie Bush is getting his trophy back, is NC State's 2021 baseball team going to get their national championship back? Y'all got a little asterisk next to y'all too. COVID champs.
We went through. I have
COVID champs. They had Vandy on the road.
We went through Texas.
What was it that
and Vanderbilt? And I promise you, as a state fan, we were praying we got NC State. We were praying we didn't have to go through Texas again. But that's fine. I mean, whatever.
In NC State, yeah, that's what it was. Didn't they get eliminated from the College World Series?
Yeah,
COVID, yeah.
Because they had COVID.
They ain't never been.
They had Vandy on the ropes. Vandy had cooled off, and then they just threw. You wake up one day and you think it's going to be State and NC State, and they're like, "Oh, NC State's eliminated. They don't have enough eligible players for COVID." And Vandy's like, "Oh, we get our shot now."
Vandy played them and barely beat them with their pitchers playing the outfield. You remember that?
Yeah, yeah. They were. NC State was hot that year.
Yeah, they were hot. But anyway, yeah. What else we got to address here? Obviously, we got LSU spring game. I didn't really catch it. We got the Punta Cana Turkey Tour.
Billy's
what Florida do this weekend? What Florida do this weekend in baseball?
Lost 2 out of 3 to Vandy.
They're getting used to that 2 out of 3 the other way. Here
was 2 out of 3. Okay. Yeah, we got to get a D lineman, man. That's all LSU's got to do.
That's the great
quarterback
thing.
Look good.
Here's the thing.
Nussmeier looked good.
State, keep my fingers crossed. In baseball, we swept Auburn this weekend. We beat Memphis last night. I think now what they were saying is 15 conference wins, and I think we're at 11. So we ain't far. But now we got a slate. You know, we got a Vanderbilt this weekend. So
you got to get 15 to what? Make it to Hoover?
15 to make postseason to get you in a seeding position. I guess, yeah, you'll make Hoover too. But
I'm kind of getting geared up for transitioning into sports mode. Not that I'm ready to give up turkey mode, but I'm kind of starting to feel the juices flowing about this football season coming up.
Yeah,
I'm getting
a good one.
Getting ready to go. I love going, man. We've got those. We going to the game. Oh, I know what I wanted to bring up. So, y'all remember us talking about the audience has probably heard us mention Turkey Tired a few times, right? I was going to play that little clip for old Summer. You hear me, Chad?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that is good.
Hold on just a second. Yeah, so y'all heard us talking about Turkey Tired, and I meant to bring this up earlier, but and I'm probably going to edit it a little bit.
Well, you get home, you've got to. Here's the thing: you wake up at 3:30 or 4. You know, you go get your teeth kicked in. You end up hunting till lunch.
You're walking like 9 miles, 3 miles, 2 miles
put out
up
fires
hills.
At work. You get home, and then you think that you're gonna get. Well, then you get. You know, we'll be the great fathers too. You think, well, then you know.
Put that hat on. I'm throwing the baseball with my son,
right.
That kind of thing. Out there coaching tournaments.
Yeah.
You know, helping out, doing all I can, you know, being super dad because, well, I'm gone. And thank God that she gives me the opportunity to let me go do stuff. However, you know, I'm pretty sure every average guy can relate to a conversation that sounds a little bit like this. This is two games that I coached baseball, and I did go turkey hunting that morning as well, and had been in a crawfish bowl the night before. I made her. This is what triggered it. I asked her to drive from the
tournament after a long day of turkey hunting.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You turkey hunt here. You wake up at the butt crack of dawn. I either have to get up and get the kids ready by myself and get them to school, or when you finally get home, I've got to listen to you whine and cry about how tired. So, yeah, that's why I'm cool with you going out of town, because it doesn't affect me.
When does it affect you?
When you're here and like right
I'm
now.
tired?
Yes.
Well, just pretend I'm out of town.
No, I can't.
I don't understand what the problem is.
It's annoying.
It's annoying that I'm tired.
Yes.
You know I'm tired because I played baseball today too. Right?
That's what you blame it on. But if you would have woken up when we woke up and played baseball, you wouldn't be tired. But because you woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning and
excuse me
got
for
drunk
trying
last
to be.
night,
I did not
shit
get
yourself
drunk.
in the night.
I did not get drunk last night.
Yes, you did. You're like, I don't want to leave. I want to stay.
I did not say
I'm
that.
not my friend.
I did not
I'm ready to
say that.
stay here.
I did not say that. I sure did. You didn't
So,
respond. Some wife
you weren't drunk.
Huh?
You go over to Tucker's, I don't even know what y'all are doing over there, sneaking off like you're a college student. So, do you want to pipe in now, or are you still going to stick with the you weren't
No, I wouldn't. That's what we're like.
Well, we're going to get crawfish right now because that's what I want to do. I want to eat crawfish, and I haven't had any crawfish because you've been turkey hunting every single
Do you
weekend.
gripe when I'm out of town
No, I
to
don't.
yourself? Just pretend I'm out of town.
Avery, don't we thrive when Daddy's gone, baby?
Yeah, I've heard y'all thrive.
Don't we thrive when Daddy's
I
gone?
heard y'all thrive,
Out of
and
town.
then cussed you out that term.
Don't we?
Harrison said, "Win just cussed mine out."
When, Avery, isn't like
Hey, stop.
Anyway, you get the gist of it. And yeah, so I was messing with her. I just decided, let me start recording this. This is good. So I just kept aggravating her. I was like,
Yeah.
do you gripe when I'm not in town? Do you just gripe to yourself, like when I'm out of town? And she's like, no. I was like, well, just pretend I'm out of town. I mean, what's the difference? You know, I just aggravating her. I know that they honestly, thank God we get to do what we want. I just like to aggravate her. I think it's funny. She's always clowning on me. I had to clown on her a little bit. But anyway, y'all got anything else y'all want to touch base on?
Maybe that's it.
We're gonna get back to our weekly routine on this, guys.
Yeah. I'll let you out of the trigger bet if you'll come grab this weed eater over here.
Oh yeah, no.
I'm so far behind on yard work.
So the
it's not
trigger
even
bet
funny.
never got square. Is
No,
that
we're
I
still
tried.
We're still in debt. We're starting to tack a little interest on this trigger bet.
I don't think that was part of the agreement. I don't
So
think
that's
it had
going
a
to
time
roll over
limit.
to the tour in
Uh-uh.
Kansas and
I'm gonna bust a
Hey, I
Miriam
tell you what, if I
trap.
shoot one in Kansas and get my tag, he's gonna bust one right up from underneath me in Kansas.
A Miriam's. No, I want to do a Miriam's. Where your grand slam.
No. Yeah, some friends you are. No, we'll work something out. But thing is, I just don't have any good places to take you right now. I mean, I could take you to Philadelphia, but I got to get more access. When I get more access, things will be better. So I will have more access.
You don't want to come here and mess with these club turkeys. That's for sure.
I tried.
I had a buddy that came up that's been hunting turkeys a long time, and we got in front of two of them that were gobbling about 150 yards out and make a little turkey noise, and they just hit them tunnels, them underground tunnels. You know, they're just
they do
gone.
that.
He's like,
I was
well,
told.
I won't give you shit anymore about having 6,000 acres to hunt full of turkeys. That
yeah.
when you call to them, they just
Can't
shut
understand
down.
if you just hear the story, like, why are y'all not killing them? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Because there's 72 members. That's why. I mean, you can't. They're hunting it.
It's
They're hunting
much.
it. Yeah. So
Makes it tough.
yeah, it makes it tough, man. But we'll get that going, and we'll get the trigger bet going. We got Turkey Tour coming up, guys. If you're following the show, follow, like, subscribe on YouTube. This will be uploaded. Do all the things you can. Listen to us like on all forms of Apple Podcast, Spotify, Amazon Music. I think we're on everything now. So look, we appreciate you listening. If there, like I said, give us a rating, 5 stars if you can, and if there's anything that we can do to enhance the experience, put it on there. We'd appreciate it. So that is it. So for the Spurs and Spreads team.